Ooh. So I was checking if it's legal, and as you can see, we're already jumping straight into it, and it is not good. So I finally have an agility turn where I can, try to attack, swing, attack. And this is a very do nothing Bravo, right? Which is perfect for this deck. And we don't even have the resources, even with Savage Sash. I'm only going to be able to play Humble and then Savage Beatdown. Because I also didn't have any card to activate the discard mechanic. So yeah, it's not ratioed well for what it's trying to do. Right, I can swing out. In fact, I can't even because it's 6 or more this turn. I guess the instant proc doesn't count as 6, right? Plus one while they're in any zone other than the combat. So shouldn't that allow me to play Savage Beatdown? I guess we're just playing Agile Windup. I want to discard it again, but yeah. It's not going well, and I don't think it's going to go well. Because again, the deck is okay, but just okay. But we'll find a proper game and then see. Alright, so we got the agility token again. Right, and Wild Ride at least will allow me to play Savage Beatdown. This is the first good hand that I've had, in all honesty, right? It's a 2 and a 3, so we can't even play Mandible Claw. If we had Savage Sash still, it would feel like a waste anyway. But, oh well. Wild Ride. Pitch. Only that, but once we get to the bottom of the deck, it's also going to just be awful. The 2 Might tokens might have been okay. It's just 6 into a 6, 6 into a 3 is not good tempo. Even against this tanky Bravo. No, card discard isn't. Oh, it has additional as well. Alright, I guess we're doing a 6 and a 3. Oof. Alright, so in this hand, again, there's nothing for me to do. Right? I don't have a discard. I don't have any agility, I don't have a go again. I'm basically just doing one attack. Right? I can't even play Savage Beatdown, which would be the priority to attack with. It's just... It's not... There's too many dead hands, right? That's the simplest way to put it, in this deck. And that just makes it feel awful. Again, it's not like this Bravo's attacking, so we're always having, you know, a full hand to play with, to deliberate on, to decide what to do. And again, it's just 3 turns in a row now, where it's just dead draws. It has the potential to do enough damage to get over, but as it is, it's an awful time compared to the meta, right? I don't want to call it an awful deck, right? Because again, it's an average deck, but because it's average, that makes it bad. Right, now he's finally attacking. So we have the Bare Fangs, but we have no agility. We have Wild Ride, so that's something, right? So we need a 2 and a 3, which means I have to keep my entire hand in order to play this. Oh, wait, no, because I don't have the discard, right? Savage Slash only comes in handy once. So I'm just screwed, basically. Right? Even Wild Ride into Bare Fangs, right? I wouldn't be able to block it all in order to do anything. Which means we get the Crush effect, we get the discard. You know, there's no win. There's no way to circumvent things like this. It's just attacks. And it's attacks that you draw them poorly, they don't work well, right? As opposed to them giving, you know, more copies of Bare Fangs, more copies of Wild Ride, in relation to the fact that you can run the 5s because it's Kayo. See, I can't play nothing. $80 for it, wow. And I assume that's USD. Yeah, no. Everyone's just gonna scalp Savage Slash. The deck itself is again, to put it nicely, or as nice as possible, it's average, which makes it an awful deck. For instance, my hand right now. My turn is playing 1 card, right? And it can't be Savage Beatdown, because I can't meet the requirements for Savage Beatdown. It's just... God. Savage Slash and Bean Trackers come in handy once. Other than that, it's just dead draw after dead draw after dead draw. And obviously that makes it awful. And we're against a very slow, very tanky Bravo that is generally giving us our whole hand to play with every single turn. And it's just an RNG fest of whether or not you draw the right cards to A, attack and swing, or B, attack and attack, swing. I would still buy it, not at $80, but I would still buy it for the Savage Slash. I mean, I get what they were going for with every card procs its effects, but this is awful. All right, even if I were to use the Bean Trackers, I can't play the card in Arsenal. I could swing for 3, which sucks. You got so few, and they wanted to make sure they, yeah. See, actually, the top half of that paragraph, not the price gouging. The top half of that, I think, is really true. I think the print run on this deck is kind of small from the feeling. Again, I don't have any, you know, back end talk or anything like that with stores, but here in Australia, I could only find one place to pre-order, and I took a look this morning, and there was still nowhere offering it. And I think they made it a very tight print run because KO's LLing. But then you have Savage Slash, which if it is a tight print run, this in itself is going to bump up to like a $60 card for absolutely no reason. And considering the value of the card inside, it should have been like a, you know, $25 to $30 deck. I mean, Blitz decks, they're like $18 here. Are they like $10 in America? Because I could see then, you know, Blitz deck being $10 and a Classic Constructed deck being, you know, $25. They'd fall. It was because they look on TCG Play and decide, yeah, if they can increase the price. but it's not a great deck. It's really not a great deck. Like, I want to play a Solemn Battery here, but then I want to go for, you know, the Arsenal Disruption. The Bravo is just going to deny me everything anyway. I need to really be able to attack again and again, which I guess means we're using the beam trackers. Pay 3. Oh wait, look at that. I don't have the resources now to play. At least it sets up for next turn. But I'm basically just going to play this for a bit, and then we'll tweak the deck with, again, what I think was the minimum standard they should have given it as, and then see how that plays. And if it's still, you know, not great, we'll tweak it further and see what the bare minimum of it being an actual Armory level competitive deck is. So yeah, again, they're just swinging and defending. So this is my big opportunity to try and, you know, get over their big wall. And our hand is what? We have pulping, so we don't discard, so that's a good start, right? It also allows us to play Savage Beatdown, so that's 5. 2 blues, so that's good, and then a swing, right? So that's my string here. I would like it to be 1 extra attack. You know, if we had another card that was draw and discard, right? Like a Bare Fangs or Wild Ride, that'd be wonderful, but we don't. We'll just have to see. I think Bravo's the best opponent for this, because especially this setup of Bravo that's not actually attacking. Kayo should have enough damage to get over this type of wall in a normal setting. It's the problem that we go from 1 attack a turn to, you know, every 3rd turn being 2 to 3 attacks, then back down to just 1 attack. That is the awful nature of this deck. So I can play Bare Fangs, which is good because that'll leave me a card. Depending on the resources, I might be able to play the Savage again. So we'll just do the beam trackers now anyway. One way or the other, I do want this match to end. But Bravo's a dummy, a training dummy, basically. They're not making us, you know, block. Because blocking is just the end of this deck. If you have to, you know, have 1 card less in your hand for a turn, you are screwed. Like, it's fine that they're fully, you know, defending against 1 attack, because we're meant to be able to go back to back. That only floats 2, which unfortunately means not Savage Beatdown, but Mandible Claws. Not that we have a card for Savage Beatdown anyway, because I always forget the discard. I think every attack in this deck should be in 2 cost. Savage Beatdown is a stupid M to include in this playstyle. And it's missing the really key pieces. But like, that's not a bad turn. It's not a fantastic turn, right? A Blood Rush Bellow would have been great to have in addition to it. But that's not a bad turn. If it was 3 6s, I'd be a lot happier. And if we could do that more consistently, I'll also be a lot happier, because that's how we get over this type of Bravo deck. The problem is, again, let's see my hand. Wild Ride, so that's our go again, perfect. Into what? Pitch 1, discard 1, so into Savage Beatdown. So a 6 and a 6. So this is the first 2 turns in a row where we have sort of back-to-back. If I block, if I go 1 card down, I can't use Rally the Rear Guard, because using the discard with this hand is just awful. I can block for 3, so that stops me playing anything else. Sort of if I get a bad draw off a Wild Ride. So we're not going to risk it. We'll play Rally the Rear Guard and we won't pop it. But see, if this was any other opponent and I had to make a conscious choice to, again, block more than this, our hand would just be dead. It would be 1 attack, and 1 attack is just not going to ever do anything, because they're not pumped in this KO deck whatsoever. Now, finally doing damage. Oh, no. But see, again, this is completely okay. because we're forcing a lot of block. But now I can't play Savage Beatdown anyway. Savage Beatdown, I'm learning, is just a horrible card in this. It's been in our arsenal for who knows how many turns now. It's just stuck there, basically. But I'm curious. Let's see if I can find any Armory decks around me and what price they're at. So 55 apparently, which 60 is the recommended price here in Oz. But I suppose you should look at TCG Player and how much Savage Sash is going for. But yeah, at this point they are just swinging, so I'm going to concede. Again, I will completely say this should be a, more 50-50 match, right? Because we can get over their wall over and over again and stop them from being able to attack. Savage Sash is going, it's already going for 60, wow. That's ridiculous. What about strength rules all? Might as well look at all this stuff first. So the Armory deck. So, okay, the problem with this is everyone's already complaining about the deck. If this is the price of the cards in the deck, LSS is taking a huge L from the community on this one, because everyone is just going to be unhappy. Because they tried to give a shitty deck in order to avoid price scalping, and it resulted in this. Yeah, so $10 is where I'd expect it to be. Tana probably around a $5 card, just because it has its niche uses. But then, yeah, Savage Sash should be like at most a $20 card. Tana is 20. It's going to be a train wreck. I mean, hopefully it just tanks and this is all just FOMO. But the Warriors, it's not. Yeah, and we'll just do Armory decks, Australia. So how many are listing? Slash also how many are in stock is the good question. So look, this pre-order was the only one I could find up until today as well. And weirdly, there is not the main store I use or the other big FaB store that I know of here in Oz. Sold out, that's a good sign. 11 units in stock, that's interesting. 3. And another sold out. I mean, the $55 for 11 units left is kind of interesting. So this is probably the largest single seller in Oz, and I haven't seen any listed. Sure, on the first wave, but we'll restock it. That's the hope, but they did emphasize that it would be a limited print run, and I can see them doing the stupid thing of assuming, well, Kayo is going to LL, so, who's really going to be interested in this deck? And the problem too is Savage Sash isn't Kayo specific either. So you still have Reiner and you still have Levia, because I could still see it being Godly and Levia too. Because I didn't pick up on this the first time either, but it's not Brood attacks. It's any attack action cards with 6 or more, costs 1 less to play. Like this is absolutely disgusting. This is significantly better than Tunic. It's not a contender or, a cheap alternative. That was like the first thought for a lot of people. This is the best in slot for any single Brute class for the foreseeable future. In a single turn, you can probably get more value out of Tunic. You can definitely get more value out of the block than Tunic. And it's just so flexible. any attack action cards, not brute attacks. I'll try just the normal store, not TCG. Because I'm surprised that, again, this being one of the biggest stores, he's not stocking it. Yeah, it has to be banned. It has to be banned, or it has to be rectified fairly shortly. I assume they're going to let Kayo have the fun with it. Once he allows them, they'll just get rid of it. Which is also a big, middle finger to the community as well. Because everyone is, again, going to get butthurt over, oh, what are you doing? I paid, 4 times the price it should have been to have this card just for it to last a couple months, if that. No results found. Alright, last big store. I just view all. I assume they won't have it either. Yeah. Yeah, it feels kind of weird. It's definitely going to sell out everywhere. Especially if it is going to be, hard to get. It is going to just sell out everywhere. So I might as well just, buy my 2 now before I regret it. Especially if they're $5 off the retail price. I'll look for another game. But you'll have this stupid thing where, again, if it gets limited like this, you'll have everyone who's going to a major event getting it shipped to them. Which then it just becomes, we'll pay whatever we want. And we'll just go up and up. Against the Prism. Okay, this should be a favored match, right? Because we just have infinite poppers. I think you always go first. And I'm going to do the greediest play, and I'm just going to always pop Knucklehead to see if I can get a bigger opening turn. I suppose you force them to go... But no, because if Prism goes first, they just put auras in play and end anyway, right? I can still attack. But look at this hand. Yeah, we like Arsenal Disruption, but it's a bit excessive. And again, no way to actually utilize Mandible Claws unless I... Well, I can't even use Bean Trackers because we don't have any discard. I'm hoping they just let it hit. Early damage would be quite nice. No, Arclight Sentinel. That's still fine, dumping their hand. It gives us the value of them not having anything to put into play. Like even just putting the Pierce Reality into play. So I do think that was worth the opening hand. Arsenal, Strength rules them all. Would have liked to use Knucklehead, but at least we'll save it for the block. So obviously the Claws has to go there, and we're just playing defensive. Trying to pop. Which one is Loser's Phantasm? No, if Phantasm, they need the aura for the first one that says for your first illusionist attack can't gain and loses or something like that. Yeah. That's the opening we really didn't want to see. It's just stacking up the field. Because our opportunity to clear is also horrible. Right? So Bare Fangs, we'd have to use Bean Trackers if we want to swing with Mandible Claws, right? If I want to clear 2 of these things. And that's just awful. So what do you gotta do? Have to, I guess, pitch the Reincarnate, hope one of the reds go. Oh, it doesn't, oh, it ends, you don't get the option. Because Bean Trackers is an action point. Curious. I'm getting a Savage Beat down. The 3 cost is way too great. I'm a tad confused. Did Phantasm not pop? What have we been doing? I guess the Humble. $32. Am I missing something that's clearing the Phantasm? Interesting. There's just not enough things to string together. Alright, so there's our Agile Winder. Right, this allows us to either attack swing or double attack swing in some hopes. What can we even play with it? Right, we can play Pulping. So at least that's drawing discard. You'd still probably use the agility, just in case. But now, well, I guess it's where tempo equipment comes into play. There's no defense reaction or anything like that, so you'd have to know to overblock. There's just so much going for this deck that is not new player friendly either. I'm discarding Agile Winder, creating the agility token on the end staff, playing, oh, that was not what I'm trying to do. Playing Pulping. I guess we're just blocking with equipment, avoiding some damage. Because I'm trying to have a, big turnaround turn. What's the hit effect? Just put into the soul. But yet another Figment, right? But they keep insisting that it can be. That's the issue. Because again, this is their idea of the Armory level. This deck. And that's never going to be the case. And it's not that hard to take the steps and, again, explain, more complex concepts with products like this. But I assume what comes in the box is just the deck. Maybe there's a ruling book, but again, I'd be sort of surprised. God, what is this? If it's 1 cost, I'm happy. Yeah, I think it's time for Savage Sash. I need to clear as well. Which guarantees it has go again. So that was actually a mistake by me. Right. God. Additional costs, can't play that. That's the card to go. Cure card, no. I've seen that before. It's just goes to the learn to play page, which is awful for FaB. The learn to play page is not new player friendly. Do we need the action points? No. I mean, we can check and see if there's any new resources on the site. But with every other product, it just drops you... Where exactly? Game... How do I even get to it from the normal page? Just the welcome page, usually, yeah. And then the learn more. Alright. So we can play Wreak Havoc. Doesn't have to discard. I should have taken the action point because I could have played Wreak Havoc and Battlefield Bastion instead of swinging. Because the claws aren't even enough to... Well, I guess the ward popped it. Oh well. Good on you then. What are we trying to do? Again, no go again. So we want to play Assault Battery. So we're blocking with Battlefield Bastion. And now I feel bad if I have to go one less card. Because to play Assault Battery, I have to pitch both, just to get my agility for the following turn. I should also just put this out there. I do not play Brute. I haven't played Brute in ages. I've not played Kayo. So take that with a grain of salt. But again, this is a new player-friendly Armory level deck for you to get straight into competitive, basically. When it attacks, you may banish. Okay, so we don't have to worry about hit effects. They're probably just blocking with equipment. Oh, the band trackers have nothing on them anyway. Yeah, if you show them the right cards, if you show them anything from like Levia though, good luck with that. Or even, you know, here's your new green brute savior. But Bolton's probably a good chance. Remember, Prism is quite weak in the standing as well. There's another thing to remember. So, I don't think I quite understand Phantasm. Isn't this meant to just end the chain link? There's our agility, which is nice. So playing Wrecker Romp. You'd want to play Wild Ride with it, but you can't. So it's actually Battlefield Bastion into Wild Ride into maybe a swing. No, because I'm one resource short. Yeah, all the 3-cost attacks don't seem to fit the deck. Because it wouldn't feel bad if block 1 card and then tack and tack swing. You can't. They gain the action point, but it's still meant to end the combat chain. No, and I'm not meant to take damage. I need to look up the ruling. I've never actually cared about this popping, because I've never played a hero with, you know, consistent 6 attacks. I should have just ditched the wind up anyway. Always clear the board. They don't have the one that is the first attack, can't have Phantasm. I don't see it. I see Piercing Reality, because isn't it purple as well? From what I remember. Well, they're both 6, so it doesn't really matter. Actually, Wild Ride does allow us to swing because it draws. So this is a bit better. The arcane damage I know is bad. Alright, no, I have to pitch, never mind. It's okay, neither am I. I know the effects, I don't know the names. Alright, what's his hand? Bare Fangs, Reincarnate, Rather Regard, Savage Beatdown. I mean, just playing Savage Beatdown would be good. No possible way to activate it. So at least this is where Mini Meat Axe would come in handy. Generate agility, use Mini Meat Axe, play Savage Beatdown. But Savage Beatdown just doesn't work with Mandible Claws. Or the cost basis and cards of this deck. It's defended by a non-illusion attack action card with 6 or more power, attack, I forget what the correct term is, destroy it and close the combat chain, right? Phantasmal Footsteps. First time illusion attack action you control is destroyed each turn, you may pay 1 to gain an action point, right? And that's just meant to restock the go again. Other than that, there's nothing, right? Luminaris doesn't, the actual Prism's effect doesn't. They have nothing on board that stops Phantasm. So that is meant to end the chain. I'm at 14. I still took 4. I need to look up Phantasm now. But I was sure it worked in that sense. But maybe it still deals damage. Whenever this is defended by a non-illusionist attack action with 6 or more, destroy it. It's as simple as that. When it attacks, you banish, so again, I need to keep my cards to actually attack back. But we're probably dead here anyway, with their hand size. Attack with Phantasm is defended by a non-illusionist attack action card that has the power property within the value of 6 or more. Then the state condition is met and triggered layer is put on the stack. When the trigger layer resolves, blah blah, that's just normal jargon. If an attack is destroyed by Phantasm before its chain link is resolved, the combat chain closes. If an attack is destroyed by Phantasm after its chain link resolved, the combat chain does not close. Right, so it should have closed. Weirdly. So maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but yeah, it should have closed. not dealt damage, they would have had to pay and, you know, pitch a card to gain the action point back off the footsteps so that they can then, you know, continue. Anyway, let's see what the next matchup is. All right. So, again, this is the great welcome page of FaB. Right? Learn to play, welcome deck, quick start, comprehensive rules. Where's the... Wait, the learn stuff is down the bottom. Okay. There's an interactive tutorial somewhere as well. I don't know quite where. I remember it being on the first page. But obviously, a whole bunch of reading is not the best way for a new player. Oh, we already got someone. But I can't see any new articles for the deck. And I have to get my hands on one and then try the QR code. But generally speaking, they have not necessarily done well. Because it's a lot of information, right? That's the truth. There's a lot of FaB information that is not gonna, you know, help. Or is not easily explained through walls of text. It's probably just set up the agility and then roll the dice with Knucklehead. That would be my choice. Great, a 2. Well, it doesn't really matter what we put in the arsenal. Yeah, anyway... No, that really screws us. Yeah, so this is my problem with Knucklehead. It's just like a straight bait most of the time for new players as well. I mean, that would be a great opening, right? If we got, you know, like a 5, 1 extra card, had the agility, being able to open with 3 attacks. That has piercing. I have to use the 2s. I obviously can't sacrifice anything from hand if I want to do something next turn. It'd be strength rules all into a swing. So luckily we have no discard. Yes. But it's why I think the classic battles model, that again has never been touched for whatever reason, was the way better thing to do. Actually incentivize, you know, 2 people playing against each other and learning the game together. Banish top card of the deck. Banish opponent's card with cost 1 or less. Go nuts. You're not fulfilling that contract. Okay. Just empty my hand. 7 into a 3 is not horrible. No, yes. Let's go again. It doesn't get buff for discard. It's a different weapon I'm thinking of. But you don't have the hand size to play your turns effectively if your opponent's gonna be the aggressor. But you should still be able to get a win here or there with this deck. Yeah. From memory, that was nice and stripped down, the Classic Battles deck. It's just... I don't think the price point on that product was bad. The decks were actually really good. The alternative heroes that were, you know, more beginner-friendly, well, Rhino wasn't, but, well, wasn't anything different, were fine as well. I'm very curious why that model failed, right? Why they felt it wasn't worth, you know, pumping one out every year, every set, every 2 years. For Bastion in conjunction with the block. Alright, so pulping. So I'd like to play Assault Battery, but again, the cost basis. And I could play Assault Battery to try and set up for next turn and save pulping. That's probably not a bad idea. They didn't have value. Didn't have one of the best warrior buffs? What's it called? I can't remember what the... Glistening Steel Blade, there we go. Is that it? Maybe that's it. I would tweak that sentence, though. It's not people bitching. It feels like we're getting to the point, because obviously they can't list everyone. They're select members bitching. So we have the agility token. We'd love to play Savage Beatdown off of Bare Fangs, but look at this. Our hand is red. So what can we even block with? We have nothing in the arsenal anyway, so I guess that doesn't matter. Playsets is also a stupid idea. Playsets are new cards? Sure, fully agree, right? If it's a new card printed in the deck, a playset makes tons of sense. Rather, the Rearguard does not need to be 3 in this deck. Rather, the Rearguard is such a niche tech card, same with Humble. There is proper logic to what they should be doing. Oh, that was... Ah, that's Temper. I forgot about Savage Sash. Well, that's my bad. Riding a new cards. So going into it, at that time, Reiner was the significantly stronger deck, I'm gonna assume and say. But they're just continuously getting to the point where they're always going to upset someone. There is no way for them to do anything as a company without A, upsetting the volume of the community, or B, affecting the cards. Because again, nothing rotates out. So everything is just going to continue to stack up and stack up and stack up, and either the game gets power crept or they have heavier restrictions, which again will upset people. And I would rather see, you know, new cards printed that slightly power creep the game, or, you know, go horizontal in easy to access products like this, but not at $60. So it's Pound Town. I guess try and generate the might. No, Bare Fangs will be the higher attack. So we can block a little. Brokard discards, that's fine. Stuff out of the deck we also don't care about. It's like the other way. The longer they don't do anything with CNC, the longer they don't do anything with Alliance Strike, with Codex of Frailty, right? The more value these cards gain because of what they do, the less they're able to print an alternative. If they nip it in the butt straight away, then it's fine. And what does the agility token really do for us here? We get an agility, I can play Wrecker Romp, pitch, discards, that doesn't work. I can play Mighty Wind-Up, pitch, can't play that. I guess we're playing with Clash of Agility, just so we have enough resources to swing. That's awful. There will never be nostalgia for old cards. That's the thing. This game will never have a semblance of old cards because the only things that rotate out that will ever be absent from the meta to build nostalgia are heroes and weapons. Power 9 is nostalgic because they were, removed from sets and play, and were this pinnacle of the game where it was, insane to play, or remembered to be insane to play. They're doing it artificially, obviously, with the Living Legend format, and it's not working. Alright, no agility, so we're playing one thing. Fantastic. I mean, God, the other worst thing about this deck is it just feels so slow. Match top card of the deck we also don't really care about. Attack action we actually do care about. Yeah, and you hear about it. But if you started this, 2 years from now, chances are you'll play against someone who plays CNC. Oh, I can't even because I have to discard. I can't beat chest. See? Look at that. I can't even get the might token. The deck is super straightforward. Again, I can't stress this enough. It is a average, consistent deck. The problem is that average and consistent just makes it not so good. It is super easy to play. It's kind of fun to play too, right? Because you're always getting these effects off. It's just not as well tuned as it should be. Right? Because I can't block here because I want to be able to attack and swing. I'd love to do more, but they should have leaned almost a bit harder onto Kayo and gone with yellows. Because we just don't get enough resources in hand to, have this big payoff turn where finally I have my go-agains. So I should be able to attack, swing. And because of that, we just slowly chipped away. Right? So we want to play Wild Ride or Assault Battery. Floats 1. Can't play Popping, we're only swinging with Mandible Claw. Depends on what we get. Yeah, can't play it. And you only get one sort of do-over with Savage Sash. But you will get wins from time to time. It feels like it could have fared with a inverse Mandible Claw. Something similar to the mini meat axe, or something that just costs less. But still had the go again. Because the problem is this is just reactive to all the decks, so you're never really going to get the go again trigger at the stage you want. Again, another sort of bad hand, right? To play Pulping, I have to pitch 2 all the blue, and then I have to pitch 1 extra for Mandible Claw. I have to discard because of the Pulping, so I can't do anything if I actually want to effectively run my turn compared to theirs, and to try and get, my aggression back. Which is always bad, because if I have to play my entire hand to do something valued, then you've lost. Because you'll never be at a happy point where you can keep your entire hand and not just die. Right, so even though I have another go again, it's just Wild Ride off the Humble and then I can't swing. So it's literally just average of 12 or 9 a turn, which is very low for Brute. Even if there was just a piece of armor that made your weapon cost less. Right? Reduce its cost by 1 every time you discard. That would have worked really well. And just, you know, make it a 2 damage or something. Just something to add to the top, right? Because either getting the 2 damage across or getting rid of the last card in your opponent's hand would be fantastic. Either way, now again, right? Wild Ride. So, still lose a card. Because we have to pitch, right? Into Strength Rules All, have to pitch, means I can't block. If I block, then I'm doing one thing, and it just sucks. At least this is finally a point where if we had the agility token, not that we do, well, actually I can swing first, right? We can Mandible Claws and then Strength Rules All. And it should just be more consistent 2 attack turns into a 3 attack turn, rather than a 1 attack turn into 2 attack turns. Right, and then there's cards that are just too costly that shouldn't be in the deck. Like Wreck-A Romp. And then we just add a shitty hand, right? And create the agility token. I can play Smash Instinct, but then I'm basically just swinging. That's it. And once again, I can't block if I want the agility token. So we're just losing on damage. Another new defensive card. That's if if you've discarded something this turn with 6 or more, it gains 2 block or something like that would have been fantastic. When was the last time we got a block card? Because I thought that was like a thing for decks. Right, this fancy new mechanic. Yeah, at this point, they just let damage through because we've lost. We've lost the race as Brute. We've lost the damage race as Brute. That is a shitty sentence to say. Shred is a -3, so I still have to overblock. Alright, so if they shred, I can use Rally Reguard. I'm not even going to swing, because I'd rather hopefully get another big swing turn. But look, no agility. So we'd have to use, well, attack with Wreck-A Romp. Pitch a blue, Bean Trackers. If this wasn't a red, I feel like we could get through. Or if Strength Rules All had a discard effect. But we also have to block. So that sort of is gone in the wind, right? We're looking at just, I guess, Strength Rule, Bare Fangs into one other attack. Which is not enough block. In fact, is that even correct? They have to keep the blues because of the discard mechanic. We're also, you know, probably dead here. Is this attacks? Yeah. But yeah, a ton of silver back. Into a 4. Into a flick knives. Into a game. Or not. Doesn't matter, another attack. Yeah, and at this point, it's even if I blocked, doesn't matter. We're holding on to nothing. Because there is no big swing around in this deck. There is nothing where we could stall for to look for to, you know, have a better win chance. But we'll keep going. Maybe get one win before we tweak the deck. We can get some order though. I realized I had muted before I said all that. Basically, there's no arcane barrier whatsoever in the deck. There's no sideboard, so that was just auto concede. There's no way to get around it. And then, because matches are easy to find, I'm going to get a drink first, and then we'll look for a match. Okay. So, I see there are a lot of deck tech videos for this already. That makes sense. Prism again. So fun with Phantasm. The bare minimum, Cast Bones and Blood Rush Bellow. Instead of the Humble and Riley Regard. I think the deck would have been more viable straight away. Whew. No agility generator. Basically just Knucklehead, try and get lucky. What do we roll? A 2, fantastic. Ooh. See. I'm going to Google this. Because at the very least, I know they shouldn't be having the action point. They have to use Phantasmal Footsteps. Right? Because they're meant to lose the go again. That's the big trigger. That's meant to make this, you know, fair. Moment attack is committed to a Spectre. No, not Spectre. I'm looking for Phantasm. Go again attacks only give you an action point after the attack resolves. So if a card with Phantasm is destroyed by 6 or power card, the combat chain closes, thus preventing the attack from resolving, and the go again doesn't resolve. If there was a yellow, the first attack with Herald in its name, you play each turn, and your first angel attack each turn gets go again, right? Doesn't generate action points. It's just meant to have go again. So I don't think I'm wrong in thinking that Phantasm... No, did it trigger that time? 5 on the first one? No, it didn't trigger that time either. Whatever. I wouldn't be able to fully block anyway. Not that I'd want to, because again, we lose cards from hand. I understand the Kayo thing, because that's the combat chain. Also for reference. But we have been blocking with 6s. So in Agile Wind-Up, Smash Instinct, Savage Beatdown, Savage Sash isn't enough, we need 4, we only have 3. Can't play Assault and Battery, so that we actually can't play 2 cards anyway. So it's not worth using the Agile Wind-Up. It is worth Assault and Battery first, being trackers, then Savage Beatdown. No, because I still have to discard 2 cards, so that doesn't work either. The only way you can string together 2 attacks without an attack in clause is if you get any of the discard draw cards. Unfortunately. Vector, no. Phantasm. Phantasm is a keyword found on illusion attack action cards. Ability constantly looks at the power value of each defending card and triggers if any of them are non-illusionist and 6+. It's 6 or more, right? Not 6+ for starters. Yeah, 6 or more. If the triggered effect resolves successfully, the card with Phantasm is destroyed and combat chain closes. Like Spectre, if the card is go again, the controller does not gain an action point because the attack does not fully resolve, right? So me blocking with 6 power card would cause them to have to pay Phantasmal Footsteps. Let's see. Nope. It resolves, it hits. So, yeah. Hopefully someone can explain to me what I'm missing. We're just playing Smash Instinct so I can block with a Solid Battery. It's a 5. Okay, so in this case it's a 5, right? Kayo's effect doesn't work, so it doesn't actually do anything. Or was it Herald of Triumph? And was I not reading the first Herald? That was Judgment, right? That was the... Yeah, the Savage beat that one. They pitched Triumph. Ah, okay. I'm missing something. The Figment of Triumph. Which I assume is always the first one you pull out. Yeah. Alright, it just makes this deck a auto-lose. But that's what we were missing. I'm glad we figured that out. Ugh. This is gonna go horribly. We might as well play aggressive. Another Wild Ride. So I can swing, or I can play Wild Ride. I guess is what we do. I could also discount play Savage Beatdown, but I don't think that's worthwhile. I think it's actually just swing here. Play Knucklehead and stash the Wild Ride for a big turn next turn. And we're mainly doing this as sort of setup. Because obviously it's never really smart to, you know, go for a bunch of attacks. Oh, God. On your first turn. Cool. One shot for 6. Yeah, we definitely nuded ourselves using Knucklehead. Never use Knucklehead. So the nice thing is Might does affect the weapon, so we could just swing for 6, or, you know, attack for 9. Probably the better idea. Do we have a resource floating? We do, good. Oof. We can create an agility token. It's -1. I feel like if you could also get around the discard, but then that'd break Brute in every other setting. That's not this deck. It's a good thing we don't run defense reactions. We're doing that and just saving the agile wind-up for the turn after. A 4. And go again. We'd really like to play agile wind-up, Wrecker Romp, Savage Beatdown. But again, wouldn't work because of the discard. Just, no matter what choice you make, it feels bad in the deck. Wait, what? We'll watch this after. But if LSS... Yeah, buy this deck, and here's the deck tech. That, to me, feels shitty. Here's your competitive level deck, and here's all the extra things you need to fix it. I don't have to discard now. I think we're almost done with this deck, because it's a nonsensical nuisance. Can we pay 3? No. I'm reading all the responses, and apparently it's pretty positive. I mean, God, what are we even doing? I want to use Agile Wind-Up. Can you use an instant from Arsenal, or did I screw myself? Which again means I really can't block. We know the Remorses is coming anyway. I think an hour of playing this deck is probably enough. It feels bad to just repeatedly concede, but it's the same thing over and over again. This deck is just, it's not competitive, as it is. Let's watch LSS's little deck tech video, why don't we?
Here at Legend Story Studios, and today I'm going to be talking about this Kayo Armory deck.
Brace yourselves for a living nightmare from the depths of the savage lands.
Classic constructed deck that you can grab at your local game store, get it out the box, and play at your local armory. So the purpose.
So how much do we agree with that initial statement? You can take it out of the box and you play your armor. You can play it, but as we've just seen with an hour, if you're, not experienced with the game, you're going to have a horrible time. If you're experienced with the game, but don't really know brutes, you're going to have the level of time I just had. And if you know brutes, you're going to... I feel like you're just going to feel awfully slow with the deck.
The purpose of this video is to give you some tips on how this Kayo deck functions. We'll start off by looking at Kayo himself, then we'll move on to the weapon. And
I just realized, for whatever reason, chat is not working. Well, it's working on screen, like I can see the pop-up. Sorry, I'm talking over it. I really shouldn't.
Where I go through all the cards in the deck and how to best use them. Okay, with that said, let's take a look at Kayo. So Kayo Armand and Dangerous. He is a brute hero with 40 life and 4 intellect. And the first line of text says, you have 1 weapon zone. So this is something very unique about Kayo, is that he only has 1 arm. Currently, he is the only hero in the game who is missing an arm, but he makes up for that with raw power and ferocity. Other than that, Kayo has 2 main abilities. The first line of his hero ability says, attack action cards you own get +1 power while they're in any zone other than the combat
Sorry,
chain.
I
But
getcha.
this might not seem that useful until you see how this hero actually operates. Cards like Bare Fangs say, when this attacks, draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more power is discarded this way, this gets +2 power.
Alright. Sorry, I missed a whole bunch from Andrew. I assume he's gone. Just played Kayo, running the new chess piece on Talishar, and yeah, in a proper Kayo deck, the chess piece is busted. And hopefully it sounds better.
So Bearfangs is an example of how Kayo utilizes that second line of text with cards like this Rough Rod Shard, which are actually 5 power blues that are just great resource cards, but the second line of text gives you that consistency that if this card is discarded to the Bearfangs, it still satisfies this condition. And it
So straight away, the big issue I have with this concept that they're putting forth is that you have any level of control over this, right? When it's all random, and not only that, draw, and LSS is not given enough, value blues.
also satisfies Kayo's second kind of main ability, which is the first time you discard a card with 6 or more power, during each of your action phases, create a might token. And might tokens are that extra little bit of power buff to the first attack on your turn. Might tokens say, at the start of your turn, destroy this, then your next attack this turn gets +1 power. This package makes Kayo one of the most consistent brutes out there, because you are able to play a lot more of these blues with 5 power that kind of act like 6 powers. And this outlines the main strategy that Kayo wants to do is to maximize these cards that discard 6 powers. You keep on creating these might tokens, which help you maintain tempo throughout the game and keep on pushing your attacks to be stronger, while also letting you include these consistent blues that actually act as 6 powers, so you have access to resources as well. And another payoff for this ability to draw and discard 6 powers comes in the form of Mandible Claw, Kayo's signature weapon. Mandible Claw says, once per turn action, 2-cost attack. If you've discarded a card with 6 or more power this turn, Mandible Claw's attacks get go again, and this is attacking for 3. So this basically tells you if you've discarded a card with 6 or more power.
Again, the big issue, with this deck specifically, you're never going to use Mandible Claws as a go again effect, so you really don't care. You really want a opening attack with go again to then use Mandible Claw. Because here's the thing, with all the Might and Agility tokens, they're not like Quicken. They don't act as soon as you put them into play. So holding on to any of the instant wind-up cards to be able to then say, swing with Mandible Claws, try to get a value block, and then go into whatever big attack you want, is never going to work.
This gets go again, and you can utilize more from your cards by getting these weapon swings in there. So having a look at Kayo's equipments, we have Tide Tanner, Savage Sash, Beaten Trackers, and Knucklehead. Now these predominantly they offer great defensive ability. Firstly, we have these Battle Worn ones, Tempers, Temper 2, and Battle Worn, just giving...
Equipment, fully agree. In fact, we'll probably skip over this, right? He's very tanky, which is nice. You're right. Maybe the High Tanner should have had Arcane Barrier just for the Runeblade matchups to, help with the pings. But other than that, the equipment is right on the money.
4 to 5 or 6. This is a great ability, is actually insanely fun. You roll a 6-sided die, and if you roll a 5 or a 6, your intellect actually jumps up.
And let's rephrase that, right? 1/3 of the time, you're getting a benefit from Knucklehead. Every other use is awful. It's neutral or significantly worse.
From 4 to 5 or 6.
And again, I use it straight away. for that exact reason. Because if you're, you're trying to clench this in a, again, strategic competitive game, it's never going to work, right? Your big swing turn, you need the Knucklehead to function. Well, there's nothing in this KO in terms of cards or ability to help with Knucklehead. So it's basically a 1/3 at that point in time, whether you keep up the aggression and you win or you lose, which makes it a huge win more card and something realistically you would never ever use in a proper competitive setting. You'll take it for the block, but you will never use the actual function of it.
This is a great...
Unless for whatever reason you end your turn already with a full hand, right? And you're just looking to get that benefit of 5 or 6, which again is why I like using it on turn 1.
Ability, if you need to catch up in a game, if you're falling behind and you need those extra few cards to get ahead, or if you're just feeling lucky, you can go for a roll and see what happens. With High Tenor, this has Battle Worn 1. So the baseline is you can defend with it. And it's not just 1, it's all of your attack action cards with 6 or more power.
We know Savage Sash is broken.
Pop the Savage. Resources spared to do something like attack of the Mandible Claw. And you draw and actually use the effect multiple times. So for example, let's say you pop this Savage Sash and play out something like a Wild Ride, pitching a blue card. Now this Wild Ride now costs 1, and you draw and discard the card, and then you have 2 resources spared to do something like attack of the Mandible Claw, because you drew and discarded a 6 power card. Now, here's a fun fact about this KO deck is there's no misses. Every single card in this deck is a 6 power card, one way or another. So now the Mandible Claw costs 2, and we can play out something like this Run Roughshod that usually costs 1, but it gets discounted to 0.
Alright, so 1 cost, 0 cost, 2 cost, right? So you've pitched a blue, you have 1 card left in hand, right? This works specifically off of Run Roughshod. Everything else in the deck will be a 1 cost card, right? And the majority of other things in the deck will be a 1 cost card in this setting that forces you to discard something. Meaning that this sequence that they're showcasing will never realistically work, right? In terms of Wild Ride as well, there is, God, was it 6 copies? I think it was the reds and the yellows. I might be wrong. Then you also have Pulping, which can be denied its go again. So in terms of actually getting this off, not only do you have to have not blocked, most likely, on your turn, right, or only blocked with 1 card, you need specifically this favored setup that they're showing. Trust me, I know all about, showing the best aspects of a deck, because that's what we do when we make combos. I play against a bot with a very specific hand that I refresh over and over again for this exact reason, to highlight the best possible, but least likely outcome.
Thanks to the Savage Sash, which saved us 2 resource points. This kind of discount is extremely powerful, especially when combined something like a Beaten Trackers, when you want to just keep going and utilizing it to play more cards. And I feel like this is where...
Again, this is now, realistically impossible. You've pitched 1 card. So say you have, again, Arsenal and a full hand, right? You've pitched 1 card. You've drawn and discarded, so that's actually 2 cards gone. Sorry, no, 1 card gone, because you drawn and discarded, right? So you have your... Say this was played from Arsenal. You've pitched 1 card, you have 3 left in hand. Roughshod, 2 left in hand. Bare Fangs, you still have to pitch for it, right? So this means you would have to have had your entire hand and Arsenal in order to have this sort of sequence, which is just highly unrealistic.
Where the deck kind of gets its power from is these 1 big turns where you just keep on attacking with these 6 power attacks one after another. Okay. So
and it's not these big turns, because as he also just showcased, he has to dump his chest and his boots and have a full hand and Arsenal in order to have that big tempo turn.
So brutes are known for taking these high risk, high reward kind of options when it comes to deck building or just playing the game. And Wild Ride, Bare Fangs, and Pulping are kind of examples of that, because they can't defend. You're basically all in on these. You're basically playing them out or you're pitching them. And all three of them serve a very important function in the KO deck, which is they draw a card and then discard a random card. And that's where those synergies with his hero ability come in. Wild Ride is a great starter to your turn because it draws a card and discards a card, and then it gets go again if a 6 or more power attack is discarded this way. And this is a great way to combine with your Mandible Claw and then one of these 2-cost attacks.
All right, so again, he's pushing Wild Ride, Mandible Claws, another attack. So already it's 6 cost, right? Wild Ride is a -1. You are most likely, if you say pitch a blue, you're still having to pitch another blue or a red to get the Mandible Claws across. So that's still another -1 to your hand. So you've lost Wild Ride, you've lost the card you used to pitch with it, so that's 2 down. You've then pitched another card for Mandible Claws, leaving you with 1 card you want to play, but you can't.
As chain enders. So a great play for your turn can be play a Wild Ride, pitching a blue, draw a card, discard a card, come in with a Mandible Claw, pitching another blue, and then you're paying 6 resources for this 2-cost attack, your claw attack, and one of these enders. And
right. Again. So he's just presented the best possible scenario, which is you have exactly 2 blues, and not only that, but your second blue has survived the random discard of Wild Ride, right? So if they wanted that to consistently happen, they probably needed more than 50% of the blues, right? Because again, 50% blues means you are most likely drawing 2. But then you have to survive the Wild Ride check of the discard, right? So, yeah. This is where putting yellows in, because yellows still would have allowed you to float this sort of mechanic, and also then cutting out all the 3-cost attacks. So that's another thing. If you have Savage Beatdown, if you have any of the wind-up cards, I believe, are 3, right? Assault and Battery is a 3, Pound Town is a 3. You can't use them to follow up, right?
And coming in for 15 damage of 4 cards is really powerful in Flesh and Blood. And you get to also...
No, not in Class Constructed, I want to say. Right? Because again, you doing that means you've let your opponents do whatever they want as well on their turn, right? So your 15 damage, which is low, that is low for Brute, right? 15 damage using your whole hand is shockingly low for what Brute is actually capable of. And again, you've let your opponent do whatever they want on their turn, right? Which, again, Guardian, no go. Crush just ruins you. Prism, way too much setup. You've given them so much board state advantage. Who else is sort of meta? Well, Arachne will go through the games we played. I mean, we can look at all the top lists. Letting FaB get off their entire sequence, they're definitely going to outcompete you for damage, right? It's going to be more than 15. This is the best case scenario of this deck is criminally below average.
Set up that might token for your next turn. Now Barefangs gives up the ability to continue your turn by coming in with more power. So Barefangs says, when this attacks, draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more power is discarded this way, this gets +2 power. So with this, not only are you getting the bonus of 2 power on your attack, and you're attacking for 8, also thanks to your hero ability, you can get a might token as well. Pulping is very similar to Wild Ride in the sense that it's a draw and discard attack that comes in for 6, but it gains Dominate, making it just that much harder to defend. And it's a little bit trickier to give it go again, because if your opponent defends this with 2 non-equipment cards, then it doesn't get the go again. So you really want to be playing out a pulping when your opponent doesn't have a card or arsenal, or you're pretty sure that they can't play out a defense reaction along with another defending card to stop this attack.
Yeah, so that also means pulping is not your opening, right? So again, using his ideal strategy, Wild Ride, Mandible Claws, pulping, another attack. And that's just never going to happen.
Savage
very unlikely to
Beatdown is
happen.
your big beater of the deck. This card is how you get a lot of damage through at your opponent. It's the only red card that costs 3 to attack because it's just so worth it to play it out. It pairs up very nicely with these Wild Rides, Pulpings, and even Bear Fangs potentially.
Again, going through his scenario, right? You play Wild Ride from Arsenal, right? You still lose 1 card in hand. You have 3. You have Savage Beating. You have 1 resource floating. So you still have to pitch another card. You still have to discard another card. That is a acceptable turn, right? But again, under the premise that you have exactly the 2 blues. If you don't have the 2 blues, there are not enough yellows even to make that work when it could. And I feel like that would be a more reliable, because a 6 into a 16 is already significantly better than his whole, you can consistently get out 15 damage turns, right? So leaning more into that could have worked and would be nice and simple. You just add in more yellows, Pulping yellow, Bear Fang yellow, all the draw and discard cards you put in the yellows instead of a lot of these other cards.
To enable the first ability. Savage Beatdown says, play this only if you've discarded a card with 6 or more power this turn. As an additional cost to play this, discard a random card. If the discarded card has 6 or more power, this gets +6 power. So for 3 cost, you're getting an attack for 12 that costs you just 1 more discarded card. Now, the tricky part is enabling that first ability. And this is why it pairs up so nicely with Wild Rides and even some of these blues such as Mighty Wind-Up or Agile Wind-Up. And basically it serves as your primary way to push through big chunks of damage. And you can see how having a blue, having a
So, yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to sound like a broken record, but basically this deck is, you need 2 blues every single turn, right? Done. Bad, right? Because again, we're short. Done. But nothing to actually use them on. Bad. Done. Right? Can't activate Savage Beatdown without taking a discard. So bad. Good. Wrong cards. 2 blues. Wild Ride Pulping. Finally, we get it off. Bad. Yeah? It's not going to work out how they want it to.
Can utilizes Savage Sash very well. By popping the Sash, your Wild Ride costs 1 and your Savage Beatdown costs 2, making a great way to utilize just 1 blue pitch. Strength Rules All is a new card that is featured exclusively in the Kayo Armory deck. It says when this hits a hero, turn a card in their arsenal face up, then banish an attack action card in their arsenal with power less than the damage dealt this way. Now this is one of the few brute on hit effects that are currently present in the game, and this is a great way to get your opponent to start defending. Now if they have a decent attack in their arsenal that they want to protect, they better stop damage on this card. Another kind of useful thing about Strength Rules All is even if they don't have an attack and they're willing to take the damage, at least you're getting a little bit of information about what's coming up on their next turn. Flash of Agility and agility in general is a great way for you to set
I feel
up.
like Strength Rules All, from what we've seen playing, it shouldn't have been attack card. It should have been any card costs less than half the damage dealt, something like that, right? Just to give it a bit more of a consistent edge on destroying the arsenal. Because knowledge in Brute is not significant, right? Whether you care about oncoming attack or a defense reaction, it's not. In this deck, it's not significant because of, again, there's only 3 copies of Pulping.
These big powerful hands. And here's the agility token. It says at the start of your turn, destroy this, then your next attack this turn gets go again. And this is especially good with some of these cards like the Bear Fangs, or something like starting off like a Humble or a Wreak Havoc. Now, Clash of Agility actually showcases another usage of Kayo's hero ability. So Clash of Agility says, when this defends, clash with the attacking hero. The winner creates an agility token. So the cards that you reveal from the top of your deck are also powered by Kayo's hero ability, which give them +1 power. Cards like Wreak Havoc and Humble act as in a similar role that the Strength Rules All does, where they create these annoying on-hits for your opponent to deal with and are a great way to end the chain after your opponent has already tried to defend some damage from the Wild Rides, Mandible Claws, etc. Rally the Rearguard is another chain ender that costs 2 and attacks for 6, but has a very unique ability. It says once per turn instant, discard a card. This gets +3 defense. Activate this ability only while this is defending. And this card is especially great when you are stuck with cards like Bare Fangs, Pulpings, or Wild Rides, but you really need to defend. So you can defend with a Rally the Rearguard and discard some of these cards that cannot defend to stop some damage.
And then do nothing for your turn. Because, again, every scenario that they've put forward is more than 3 cards.
Here is another copy
In
of
which case,
Bare Fangs.
just 5 block is not enough.
Just because in the yellow pitch, just because it's such a powerful attack.
Again, would have been significantly better if it was Wild Ride or Pulping, right? And you didn't have to rely on going 1 card down for an agility token.
Now, this Kayo deck runs a lot of blues just because you want to consistently be drawing these resource cards to play out big turns. And
as we
with
showed,
30
you
blues, that is the primary way to use these cards, is as resource cards. But they also have quite a lot of utility that you can use if you have a few too many in your hand. And a great example of this are these wind-up cards. Mighty Wind-Up and Agile Wind-Up are a great way to set up your following turn. They both say instant discard this, create a might token, or create an agility token. Now be mindful that when you do discard this and it's your first card you discarded this way.
Wrecker Romp is such a stupid card to have in this deck. Right? Its only use is pitching. Because if you have to take the discard effect, the random discard effect, it's not great. 3 costs is definitely not great. It would be one of the most power-crept cards in the game, from my perspective, right? From where Brute launched to what Brute is now.
And your KO ability still triggers, and you would get 2 mights or an agility and a might for next turn. And these are just a great way to create big openings for the following turn. But also a neat little trick is to use them in conjunction with this Mandible Claw. So you can attack with a claw that doesn't have go again, and then after your opponent defended or hasn't defended it, you can discard one of these wind-ups to give this thing go again and continue your turn. Battlefront.
Again, you've pitched a card with Mandible Claw. You're now discarding 1 card to then attack with something else. It's okay. Not fantastic. Right? You'd rather chain 2 heavy attacks together than try to chain Mandible Claws and something. I know you get the value long-term for the deck, but you don't want to be playing slow. You don't want to stall. You don't want to fatigue. You want to just keep up the aggression. And a 3 into a 6 or 2 6s. You want the 2 6s. So again, these are always best used, in my opinion, on your opponent's
Bastion
turn.
over here. Now this is another one of these new cards that says when this defends alone, prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to this turn. Now it does only defend for 2, but this is because of the added utility of getting that extra prevention on the defense. So you can do something like defend a dagger attack. Let's say you're playing against an assassin. You get to float that prevention effect for the following dagger attack, or maybe they start playing some more cards. And it just makes it just a little bit useful against decks that like to poke with a few attacks. Reincarnate is a great card that replenishes itself if you draw and discard it. So Reincarnate says when this is discarded at random, put it on the bottom of its owner's deck. And this way you kind of get to save your cards for later if you're playing in a game that can play to fatigue. Riled Up is a great attack, a blue attack that you can follow after something like a Wild Ride or Pulping, because it says if you've discarded a card with 6 or more power this turn, this gets +1 power. So it turns your blue into a 6 power attack on the combat chain, which is a pretty decent rate if you do have a lot of blues. Both Assault and Battery and Pound Town have that similar role to Mighty and Agile Windup, where you can use their beat chest effects to create extra agility or might tokens. Assault and Battery says, when this attacks, if you've beaten chest this turn, create an agility token. And Beat Chest says, as an additional cost to play this, you may discard a card with 6 or more power. One little fun interaction with these two is if you've played an Assault and Battery, and you have paid the additional cost of Beat Chest, then the following attack with Beat Chest, like a Pound Town, already has that clause fulfilled. Wreck-a-Romp is the only actual blue attack that has 6 power, and this is especially useful against decks like something like an Illusionist, maybe Prism, that really cares about not having the 6 power against.
Except as we learned, they always just take the figment of, was it Triumph? Right, that's just a -1 to attacks. In which case, there's no 7s in this deck, so every card no longer is a popper. Right, and if they never flip it, it's an auto loss
On the combat chain, because despite all these blues fitting your deck as a 6 power card, they don't actually work as poppers against the Phantasm. But this Wreck-a-Romp does, and that is a great card for those specific matchups.
Except 3 and 30, so yeah, 10% of the blues do something in this scenario that they're suggesting.
Smash Instinct says, when this attacks, intimidate. Now, this is a great way later in the game when your opponent is low to strip away their defensive cards and push through damage. Now, Intimidate says, target hero banishes face down a random card from their hand. At the beginning of the end phase, return it to their owner's hand. And this basically allows you to dodge one of their defensive cards and hopefully have enough damage to push through and close the game. Run Roughshod, we've seen before. It's just a great power play in the blue because it costs 1 and it comes in for 5, which is a great rate. And the only kind of tricky thing about it is it says play this only if you've discarded a card with 6 or more power this turn, which in this particular deck is extremely easy to enable. Also, one of the most important parts of the blue base is the fact that most of these cards defend for 3. So these are primarily, if you see multiple blue...
Again, that's just completely counter to the point they're saying. We gave you 30 blues so that on average, you're drawing 2 a hand. That 2 blues then allow you to do exactly the plays that we've outlined, right? Anything else screws you over. But hey, also block with it and, lose your value pitch.
Blues in your hand, you can probably just use the rest to defend out with and use that 1 or 2 blues that you need for the turn to make everything you need to happen. Now, if you would like to upgrade this Kayo deck and make it even more powerful, I recommend checking out cards in the Heavy Hitters booster release, big tokens, but it does add runner, legendary, by powering up all.
I like how they already know the weakest cards in the deck. I would probably keep Wreck Havoc, because for the majority of people, CNC is, off the table, right? This is your entry, you're not buying 3 copies of CNC. Apex Bonebreaker, maybe not. I feel like you can get away with High Tanner. Obviously, the Temper comes in super handy. Rally the Rearguard and Humble and Reincarnate should all, be cut. They obviously show Runner, bit too costly. But Cast Bones, it's a $5 card. And even Bloodrush Bellow is a $5 card, right? Sev Rally Rearguard and Sev Humble, those are the 2 other sets of Majestics that really should have been in the deck.
Huge turns by powering up all of your Brood attacks at once on the same turn. So you can start off with a Wild Ride for 8, come in with a Klloo for 5. And
alright, what do the comments say? Perfect way to create value for new players without making this. Oh, we'll see in the coming days, but we already have Andrew saying his LGS is trying to charge him $80 for it. Going Potential is really nice. Savage Sash and Run Roughshod are busted. Yeah, they're good cards. But look at this. Bloodrush Bellow. Can't wait. Love the deck tech. Yes, look, his advice and what cards to put in definitely works. This isn't the overall problem. The overall problem is the deck we got. Price might be on the borderline of acceptable, but it's not a reason to skip it, especially with all the awesome new cards. How's Run Roughshod allowed to be played for free with Sash? It's not a 6 attack on the common chain. Is the cost reduction applied in hand? Yeah, wouldn't that be how it works, right? Because your hand is still his own. I assume that's what it's saying. Costs paid before combat. Yeah. I do think the exclusive cards are worth the cost, but I wish maybe in the future there can be more unique stuff like dice or coins in the box. Anyway, keep up the CC decks. Gold format for new players. That was really weird. My speaking, I mean. I don't think a deck is bad. I think what's in it is well designed. However, I don't see why this doesn't include Blood Rush Bella or Beast Within. Beast Within, too pricey. Either one would have brought this up to be a fantastic start for a new player immediately. They get a playset of Brute staples that all three blue Brutes run. God, I hate BR. For how limited the release are and how expensive the deck is compared to what's in it, it's incredibly disappointed. Right, $40 for Savage Slash, $10 worth single. The most expensive card in the deck outside of the exclusives is the Pulping. Make a deck with more playable cards. People can't play the game when it's too expensive, and this is a great chance to reprint more expensive cards. I love these products. My only concern is why put all the value in the unique cards. If they see no tournament play, the value will decrease, but they're obviously going to see tournament play. I think it would be wise to spread the value. Yeah, again, they don't need to be expensive cards. They're new. They don't have to come out of the gate swinging as, $40 cards, $20 cards, $10 cards. For me, CC Precons would be an excellent way to introduce new heroes. Granted, this could be used for new upcoming heroes with a new set of standalone hero. Why no sideboard? That's also a big question, right? Because it's become such a prevalent thing, right? There's lots of cards in there that could have been a good deck tech. Deck is fine. Way too many backseat developers complaining about this product. 100% deck can be brought for $10 TCG player minus 3 new cards. Should I get all stores around me? Sure, but having the convenience of it, I just want to point out that not every country has TCG player. What's your point? Look at the backseat devs who are saying the deck is fine. You still buy a bunch of decks for equipment, blah, blah, blah. Awesome idea beyond awful execution. Hope the next one is better. After so much feedback on this, should have been $20 cost. Price value of the cards inside don't seem to commiserate to one another. Compensate to one another. Would have been an excellent time to reprint Blood Rush Bellow. Yeah. Yeah, that's the main thing, right? They want, the new Majestics in it to hold value, and that's stupid, because they shouldn't. They're printed for this product. They don't need a fancy price tag along with them. Overall, again, we tried the deck for an hour. It was abysmal. Straight out of the box, you can play it, you can have an enjoyable time. Everything there, all the plays they're suggesting in this video are very unreliable, right? Or you're sacrificing a lot for less average damage than what Brute could normally do. And, cards like this make a hell of a lot of difference. Even just, 4 might tokens of Cast Bones, or in most cases 6 in agility, is fantastic. You play it on your turn, so you're then more incentivized to actually take that next turn where you don't do anything and you go crazy. You have the agility token, so your first attack has go again. You have maybe a wild ride or a pulping for another go again. You then swing with your claws and then you attack, right? And you get that big swing turn off. Or, in the case of Blood Rush Bellow, you do 2 attacks in the swing and they're still buffed. And that's still significantly better than what has been suggested in this, right? Nothing wrong with the video. It does the best with what the deck is, showcases off what the deck is capable of. The problem is, again, the deck is average, and average just doesn't cut it in Flesh and Blood in the competitive scene. That's my perspective. So let's tweak it. We'll tweak the deck, and we will play some games and see if we can actually do a little better. Okay, so what does it need? Well, first thing I'm really going to do is I'm going to get rid of anything that's 3 cost, because even though Smash Instinct is nice, being 3 cost is just breaking the bank on this deck. So anything that's 3 cost can go, even again with the potential value of Reincarnate. That doesn't work with Beat Chest, by the way, right? Downtown. Keep the wind-up, at least the agile wind-ups, right? 1 might token is not enough, right? If you had 7s, maybe, if you had some high damage, maybe, You know what? We'll keep the Battlefront Bastion, I think. No, we won't. I don't think that's good enough. Assault Battery. Keep the Agile Wind Up. Cut out the Savage Beatdown. Cut out the Rally the Rearguard. Cut out the Humble. Keep the Clash of Agility. Right, straight away, before we even slot in these cards, you just increase the play number of the cards you actually want. So for instance, Agile Wind-Up. Right, again, to get those swing turns off, run every single copy of it. It's a no-brainer. Right, Wild Ride. Definitely run the yellow. Still fits the cost basis of swing and attack. So that's fine, right? Again, we're looking at pitching 2 cards and playing 2 cards. The majority of turns are just going to be attack and swing, so yellow is more than welcome in this deck. Obviously can't run the blue because it's still 4. Right, so Wild Ride, Pulping, stick in the yellow. They've already got Bare Fangs. Wreck Havoc can stay. I want to get rid of Wrecker Romp, but as a blue it's still kind of okay. Right? So then we could take Runner Runner. I want to sort of stay away from the expensive cards. So why don't we just look through alternatives that are decent. Right? We'll just look at Agility Generation first. I assume there's a yellow Clash, right? And that works anyway. Clash of Agility? Yeah. Put that in. Yellow cost basis. Again, Sash is for that big swing turn, so whether it's blue or yellow is still going to accommodate. So we're 12 cards away. We'll put Cast Bones in. And we'll put Blood Rush Bellow. Now, it's easy enough to just then grab, you know, Beast Within, grab Runner, but we'll leave it be. Right, we'll look through the Brute cards for a little bit and see what is of interest. That could be a little bit better. Right, we could take a Solemn Battery. I really want to stay away from the 3s. We'll try to stick to their theme of just attacks, so we won't take just straight up buffing cards. So Barraging Bighorn. Discard a random card. Defended by less. Let's go again. It's a 2 for 7. It's already seems a bit better. Right? So we can take all 6 copies of Barraging Bighorn if we want it. Or we can take the red, and we can take the blue. Then we also have Damage Up, Intimidate. Nah, that's fine. Right, so we're at 16. Draw 4. Again, what are we doing? Blood Rush Bellow, but we don't have a... Well, Blood Rush Bellow is in itself the discard activator, right? So Blood Rush Bellow, pitch the Run Roughshod, right? So it allows us to play something else and potentially swing, depending on what we get, right? So that's good in itself. Another Blood Rush Bellow. Cool. Plus now we have the go agains, right? We still have the yellow and 2 cards to pitch if need be, right? So Wild Ride off of Blood Rush Bellow. Ideally, though, you'd still just always play Blood Rush Bellow. It's a 1 cost, so it doesn't matter what we pitch. You can take out some more of the reds and put back in some more blues. But just a more aggressive baseline seems fine, right? We're still drawing the yellow to play every now and then. Maybe just a tinge more blues is what it's looking like, right? Which is fine. We can accommodate that. Right, what root blues could we include? Anything with a 5 is what we're basically looking at. Savage Swing. It's another 1 cost, similar to Run Roughshod, right? For the exact same reasoning. It does have a discard mechanic, but that's fine. It's still a 1 cost attack to open. Sounds good to me. Alright, we still don't have to, you know, grab Swing Big, grab the other cards. Can't run Pulping. Swing with a big tree is just blank. Could work, but, you know, it's not needed. Wage Might. I mean, Wage is not a bad mechanic to run, but I understand them wanting to be more consistent, right? So we just take out I would almost be tempted to take out Strength Rules all, in all honesty. I think Wreak Havoc is a bit more valuable. But both being their whole you get to see is kind of good. So what would we take out? The Bare Fangs, because I think just having the go again is significantly better than that little extra damage. Alright. Pulping, Wreak Havoc, Wild Ride, Bare Fangs. Play Pulping off of one of them, that's fine. You know, hopefully hold on and then play Wreak Havoc or Swing. That'll be the play. Right? If we discard, if we only have reds, we can go into a Mandible Claw. We have the blues, so Wild Ride into, again, Clash of Agility would probably be fine, or save it for blocking, still allowing us to block. We have our ones, so we could proc, or even in this scenario, you could just do Savage Swing into Run Roughshod, right, off of the blue. And that's already better than the other scenarios, right? It's already, it feels kind of better. I mean, there's one way to really find out, so we'll do it. Give it a go. We'll see if this is a little bit better. So I haven't tweaked equipment, haven't, you know, made it insanely costly. It's a $40 card, $40 deck, apparently. I could move my web camera. Could even click on it. Ah, chat's in the way. Fine, I'll move chat as well. Oh, what am I doing? I forgot it zoomed in. I'm messing about. Do that. Right, so it's a $40 deck. We're against Rhina. Still go first. I'm still just gonna, you know, dumb luck it with the Knucklehead. But look, Agile Wind-Up, Wrecker Romp, Savage Swing. So even just, again, playing the two Savage Swings. Doesn't work. Yeah, it's just Knucklehead. Roll to 4, so it doesn't matter. Pass, don't let them draw. Don't put the Agile Wind-Up. Oh look, cast Bones. That's wonderful. Three, so it's just one action point. Thank God. Alright. Now, let's see what the true bridge damage of a brute can be. I mean, from Rhina, not us. It's an 8, Beast Within. I guess I didn't get lucky with the discard. Might as well use our Temper. Don't want to keep my hand, since we have a bunch of discard. Okay, so we want to play Cast Bones, but also that's the last thing we do. So, we discard Bean Trackers, and just play the Cast Bones. And I'd still like to play Agile Wind-Up, because obviously it's a 3 cost instead. Ah, we got the Cast Bones. Oh well. So it did mess us up, because now we can't activate the Bean Trackers or Swing. There's the Blood Rush Ballet, which is what we'd like to see. No Mercy for an 8. So it doesn't really matter, the pulping or the barraging. But cool, we got Agile Wind-Up. So I'll aim for a big turn. But it's nice because they have to obviously drop hard in order to block. Don't think they'd have a defense reaction. The Intimidate what? Oh, that was... Ugh. Sorry, I meant to use the prompt. What do we do? Pulping off of Savage. Yeah. I meant to use the prompt. I'll just use it now anyway. And then if they don't want to block with Scowling, that makes sense. But they use Rippled away. That's fine too. B and C. So that's still fine. Because we'll just Wild Ride. Strength rules all. We should have a decent turn here. FaB Sash. Wild Ride. Pitch. Pitch a blue. Into another Wild Ride, so that's nice. I don't need the action points. We get the Might token. Intimidate away is definitely bad. So hopefully it gets the... Yeah, perfect. We don't have the resource because it's just tap cards. Alright. So I have more go agains, which is great. I don't have to use the Agile Wind Up. There's a Show No Mercy for 11. I think we can get rid of one card, I think. Right, and now we can go Rajang Bighorn or Pulping. Probably the Pulping, even though it's slightly less damage. Do we need the action point? No. I don't have anything in the arsenal, so it has to go again. Right, and we can play Run Roughshod. We still can't swing, so the cost base is still a little off in order to have those big turns without obviously not blocking. We have dinner for a Rumpo Club. We have our Blood Rush Bellow turn and now go again, so we'll just take the 4. Blood Rush Bellow, pitch. Don't need the action points. Right, and then just pulping. Yeah. So if we had the Savage Sash, that would be much better now. Oh well. So, God, how do I get around the pulping? The pitching. I mean, it's a 2 and... It's a 2 and 3. Oh, we got a yellow, perfect. Just so much extra damage. Alright, and now we can do... Do I even want to do the pulping? I can just do Clash. We grab the action points. Could have had a better time. We might get something we can play. We got Clash, which is good for blocking anyway. It's not a yellow, so we can't swing. So it's just a 7. But I think we're too far behind. I don't want to put into the arsenal either. There's the other Blood Rush, which is good. Actually, I should have, because they're not going to attack. Pitch the pulping to float the resource. So some more blues would definitely help. Right. Mandible Claws first now. If only we had a 1 cost attack. We are slightly off on curve. So it definitely does need more blues. But the additional pulpings and barraging bighorn and just, again, go against where we don't have to worry about generating the agility feels a lot better. The 9, definitely clash. Decent chance we win. I have to keep the blue, I have to take the 6. Perfect. Unique pummel for 13. We do discard, but we live. We have the agility. We don't have the resources though. Yeah, they're going to get us with the Intimidator ways. Still, I think it's already performing better than the normal Armory deck. I'm sure there's much better deck tech videos out there too. Oh, is it the same Rhino? I can't remember. We'll go first again. See if we can play this a little bit better. Don't stash the Agile Wind-Up. No, they don't want to. It's fine. So we could always put back in some of the blues they had. Instead. I almost think it's then take out the Bear Fangs. I mean, Barraging Bighorn just seems like such a better inclusion over the Bear Fangs. If they're trying to string together these longer attack chains. But the damage is nice. We'll get rid of red Agile Wind-Up. They're only really using it to discard. We'll put in Solemn Battery. Wind-Up. Reincarnate just for the value. Yes, the Reincarnate for the value. Azalea. Still go first. Good luck. But yeah, the Blood Rush Bellow is the biggest thing for the deck. It makes the world of difference. Alright, so we can set up, which is nice. We play Knucklehead. See if we get higher agility. You don't. It's such bad odds. Maybe I should just be keeping it for the block. And Arsenal the Pulping, since that's what we're probably playing. One shot. So it's Bear Fangs first, off the Run Roughshod. All sort of a bit better to play the Roughshod. I mean, technically we could deny the Endless Arrow, but if all they're doing is Endless Arrow, it's not that scary. Alright. So we get Savage Sash here. Savage Sash, Bear Fangs, it's probably the correct play. And still pitch the blue, instead of trying to play it for free. So this should be a nice, big opening turn. Do I want the mites? Probably not. Yeah, into just pulpings. I want to get rid of the yellow, so we'll play from Arsenal. And then we had a Blood Rush. So if I swing now, we're happier. Yeah. Swing, pulping, then play the last pulping. See, look at that. That's what they want the deck to do. We want the Might tokens for next turn. Do I kind of want the block? You know what, we'll take the Might tokens. We don't need the point though. See, we've crippled them, we've done an insane amount of damage, right? And all it took was adding extra pulpings. Or extra just generic go agains. Well, not generic, but you know what I'm trying to say, brute go agains. So we can do the agile wind up, but it's probably just cast bones. It's probably just wild ride into cast bones. What do you have to do? Oh, put a card back. That sort of helps. Don't want the pulping? Probably want a pulping. And we'll discard the wind up. Yeah, I don't need the wind up. I'm not playing the pulping, by the way. I think we just play. Can't player activate more than one. Yeah, it's just the cast bones. We sack the 3 might tokens, I don't care. I should have maybe defended. But I also like the hand anyway. For another big swing turn next turn. Oh, we only got 5. Damn. They're going for a big attack. The base of the first attack played during the next turn is halved, rounded up. That's fine. Again, our damage is coming from the might. So it's 11 with dominates. And we can pulping, wild ride. I feel like we're better off just taking the damage. Because we can't fully block it anyway. It's just an endless arrow follow-up, I'm assuming. No, it's a drill shot. Or a 4. Then put the -1 on the bean trackers. I suppose I should block with it then, actually. Ah, it's too late. See, this is what Brute should be, trading damage and feeling okay about it. Don't need that. Well, actually, they could have a bad block, I suppose. Right. Into Barraging Bighorn. It's a 50-50. Well, actually, I can pitch the cast bones to make it not a 50-50. Don't need the bean trackers. Just an extra 5. Alright, another Barraging Bighorn into something, or just damage. Another red in the ledger. But has dominate, so we can't block it. We only do one thing next turn. Which I suppose would just be the Wreck Havoc. Which means we can pitch and, you know, it's fine. There's no way for us to preemptively discard, so we can't do Mandible Claws. I mean, they don't have anything in their arsenal either. To go again, let me swing. Player activate more than one action, so no, because it's not cards. Yeah, so it's just the highest damage point. Save the Barraging Bighorn for the follow-up turn. Yeah. 2 barragings. And a swing. It's an endless arrow for 14. Can't block it. We're getting a bunch of tokens, and they're gonna shoot us again. Actually, no, they can't, because they can't load it. Right? We do have to block and live, unfortunately. Get the agility, maybe. But again, it's already a closer match than the normal Armory deck. Alright. So, Wreck Havoc first. Pitch, barraging, because we're playing from the arsenal anyway. right? It's an additional cost, so we can't actually... Or, yeah, I've screwed myself. This doesn't have a draw effect. All we can do is Klloo. See, and then this is just a skill problem, right? Because I don't have that much experience with Brute. Big shots. Have any buffs? Another red in the ledger. It does have dominate. Suppose we want to swing with agile windup. Do I want the other one? Go on. Interactions can't be played. The +3 is actually game. Yeah. We can only block with 3. Still, the closest life total we've had with the deck. Not that the deck is the deck anymore. So what was not quite right? Right? Maybe a Soul and Battery goes back in. Maybe Savage Beatdown goes back in. As our big payoff. Put Savage Beatdown back in. Maybe cut the barraging Bighorns. I do like them as follow-ups. Maybe all it really needed was the extra Wild Rides and Pulpings as the go again. What can I look for? Was it draw and discard a random card? Is it then or and? Then. Draw a card, then discard. So what other cards are there that we could use? Bare Fangs, no. Intimidate's kind of nice. Smashing Performance, too costly. You know what? I guess it is just more Bare Fangs. Has higher damage. Because they're the 2 cost. I feel like the Reincarnate could definitely go though. I mean, maybe we should just try the deck with just Blood Rush Bellow and Cast Bones in it. Wonder if they're the Armory deck. So they're either just going to stomp us as proper KO, yeah, versus us as the Armory deck. So we can make the Agility token. So it's Knucklehead, try to high roll, get a 3. It's unfortunate. I guess we're attacking with a Clash, which is also kind of bad. I'm actually going to generate both, because I want a better hand. And Arsenal the red. That's not a good hand. Oh cool, they rolled 2 though. So I can't Clash. I mean, we could just Strength Rules all. Just take it slow. Or maybe I should have cleared the Arsenal. That would have been a bit better. Was it Send Packing? I mean, they can get rid of the Clash, I suppose. Or you just play it. I guess we just play it because we know it's Send Packing. We just do the extra damage. I would have liked the Clash to get the Agility tokens back again. A Humble. Well, we got a Clash. And we can just block with equipment. Let's draw. Damn. Do we waste the Blood Rush Bellow now? That's the question. I mean, Run Rockshot becomes 1. We can grab the action points. The chances are we can do something with it. No, because we have to discard. Never mind. Is it worth just attacking and saving it then? I mean, the Send Packing is the problem. We just hope for a better attack. I'm going to do it anyway. Because it's such a loss of tempo if I don't. We just hope that we get a decent card to play. Take the might tokens for the following turn. Don't need the agility. Don't need the action points. Alright, so there's Wild Ride, which is perfect. So we can play the red and potentially swing. So technically we swing first, just to make sure. Ah, damn it. That's fine, because this saves us. It saved for Sash next turn with the 3 white tokens. So I think we're happy. Their Blood Rush Bellow turn, though, is going to be a lot more disgusting than ours. But the Send Packing's the only thing we really have to guard against. But they sashed, so yeah, it's going to be massive damage. I mean, I guess we just let it through. That was the problem. So if I waited with mine, we would have been screwed anyway. It's basically just whoever has the better Blood Rush Bellow turn. And Send Packing is just such a better card than what we have. So we can't block for 8, so it stays banished. So we could Sash and still have a decent turn without the buffing. Potentially enough to clap back, because the Scaling Fetch Bag's gone as well. We'll give it a go. See what we get. Get rid of the yellow, please. No, got rid of whatever you drew. So we don't need the action points. We'll save that. So swing, pitch, Bare Fangs. Is there a better scenario? Bare Fangs still costs 1. No, there's not a better scenario. Ah, hit cast bones. That's a bad scenario. You can see why they kept all the cards, or being attacks. Cast bones is such good payoff. So Humble. We care about blocking Humble, we have the Clash. The Bean Trackers. Excuse me, Bean Trackers. Thank you. Clash of Agility. We're stashing the Pulping. We don't really care about the Might. The Clash is not the right call anyway. I guess let's just play the Pulping for the damage. No. No, that's not correct. Right, because there's no point getting the Agility if we're only doing one thing. But I'd still rather play the Wreak Havoc because they're going to put something in their arsenal. So it's just... It's that, and then we just disregard the Agility token even if we get it. Which, they got it. Which kind of sucks. Fumble hits. Don't have our ability. It's fine, we just play Wreak Havoc. We don't get the Might token, unfortunately, and we just stash the Pulping for next turn. It's kind of whoever draws Blood Rush Bellow next. I think we're down 2 copies though. I remember, did we discard one? No, I guess we're not. Oh, well that's fantastic to see. So I'm not going to Arsenal. Because we're most likely taking the damage, yeah. Unfortunately, we got the cast bones. Swing big. We do have to block with Savage Beatdown. We can still pulping cast bones. But we are kind of low. No, we can't. Well, we sort of can. There's a 50-50. Discard the card drawn. Good. So, activate the bean trackers so we can play cast bones. Survive the next turn. So, this allows us to just have one attack, hopefully. Alright. Oh, and there's the Blood Rush Bellow. That's unfortunate, though. They can't take 3. We're dead, most likely, right? That would have been a nice swing turn. If only we had scaling, or I kept the knucklehead. Would have come in handy. Yeah, we have no more block. So again, significantly better than the out-of-the-box deck of the Armory deck. So, I don't think there's much else to be tweaked. I mean, again, maybe just remove the Reincarnate for something you'd actually play on a turn. Same with the Wrecker Romp. I mean, the 3 block's nice. But I feel like I'd rather have the Assault Battery. And not the Smash Instinct. Not even really the Mighty Wind-Up. A blue Barraging. Bighorn. Just as a go again for late game. And the Humble would be nice to put back, and obviously Knucklehead would be good to switch out to. We'll do one more. Because they're fairly quick games. We will get the high roll off the Knucklehead one time. The Awakener, we absolutely hate. But maybe we can just do enough damage to beat them down. So the reason their whole spiel about popping doesn't work is you'll see the first Figment the Prism grabs, and that's just game over for us. So what am I doing? We could go aggressive straight away, just with the damage. We could just wait, but we just wait. Come on, give me a good roll. 5 or a 6, 5 or a 6. 1 and 3. Put your auras into play already. Ah, fantastic, a 3. Still playing Bear Fangs first, so that can go in the arsenal. It's a 2, 1, and 1, right? So it's a 4. Still count as poppers for now. No, it doesn't, because that's -1. Right, and then the first Figment, they did not grab out the Figment, I was thinking. I guess because they have the Heralds of Triumph. But yeah, there's lots of ways for Prism to give him -1, so you really need 7s. And there were no 7s. In fact, I don't think there are any 7s. We didn't add any more 7s in. Anyway, I need to keep the 2 cards so I can play Bear Fangs. I should have probably blocked with Equipment. We're ahead on HB, and there's scarier things for Prism to do. Pretty sure it's Triumph. No, they got Rebirth. Interesting. No card in the arsenal also sucks. We will take the Might token, so I should have blocked with High Tanner. Don't need the point. Don't have Ward yet either. Doesn't eat any of their equipment. Oh, but they have Soul Shield. Strength rolls all. Well, that looks like a juicy turn. As long as we don't hit the Blood Rush Bellow, we can play both of them. Savage Slash, use attack, so you still play the Blood Rush. See if we land it first. So I haven't popped any of them, which I feel like is sort of misplay. Alright. 50-50. Ah, lucky. So we're super happy now. It's just a massive turn as Kayo. I mean, chances are I want the action point. There are plenty of attacks that we can't actually draw, that we can't actually play. So I'm going to take it now. Just preemptively. I mean, we could have seen the 2 cards and played the other Blood Rush, I suppose. But chances are we'll need it. Okay, so the question is, do we need the Sash? Wild Ride. Bare Fang Swing, currently, is the go. If I Sash, it makes it a bit easier. We'll just go for the turn. This is what we want to see, is just us popping off. Doing Bare Fangs first, is that ever worse? Alright, this is a 50-50, otherwise we're still playing either. Really don't want the Riled Up. Maybe it's Swing first. Swing, pitch the Riled Up, guarantees that we get rid of the Bare Fangs. We want the 50-50, get rid of Riled Up. All the cards you draw, basically. Yeah, good. And then Bare Fangs. We're hoping for a blue, though. The Mandible Claws. Soul Shield. Interesting. Why not play the Arclight? Yeah. See, if we had the blue, we could have added Mandible Claws to it. There was a chance. Now the Bean Tracks is sort of wasted. They're still just setting up, interestingly. Plus we now lost the 2 Blood Rush. We have Clash of Agility, which is nice. But I guess it doesn't matter. So it's Assault, it's Assault Battery. Pitch. What? We could have a pitch, but then we don't have the card anyway for Savage Swing. We have to discard. The ideal play would be Assault Battery and Riled Up, which doesn't work. So I guess it's Clash and Riled Up, but then we don't have the discard. Savage Swing and Riled Up doesn't work. Savage Swing and Clash just for the damage, I guess. Works. It's random. Oh wait, what am I saying? We don't have the action. We don't have the agility point. So it's just highest damage, which is still the Clash. But it's not. It's try and get the agility token for next turn. And we want to clear probably the Genesis. We pitch, Riled Up. We discard probably a Clash. Savage Swing is nice enough to add into a combo next turn. Yeah, because now we have Pulping, Savage Swing. There's actually Bare Fangs first. Here comes their big turn with Draw and Dominates. Again, we don't have a blockable 6, unfortunately. Actually, we do, don't we? Right? No, because Combat Chain, so it's not a 6, it's a 5. Right, any zone but the Combat Chain. Yeah. It's not a popper, otherwise that would have been great. Suppose, no, Savage Swing's the same issue. Question is, how much damage can they do? Are they flipping? More drool. Definitely scary. I mean, there's nothing we can do anyway. I don't really want to block because we have to attack back. It's just trying to survive 15 damage off of a full hand. But hopefully it's, yeah, just more setup. Which it looks to be. Beginning of each phase, if a hero has 2 or more cards with yellow card strips in their pitch zone, they gain +1 intellect. Card 2 yellow, so we can't really get around that. So the hope is that we just have enough damage this turn. We don't have agility, so it's definitely pulping. And hope to not discard the other pulping. And probably go face, because if we can't deplete their hand, we're screwed anyway. I mean, the ward comes into play. Come on. Good, perfect. We kept the other pulping. That's Soroya gone. Another pulping. Or do we play Savage Swing? No, it's the pulping with Dominate into Mandible Claw and hold the Savage Swing. And then use the Mandible Claw to probably clear the Pierce Reality. Ah, no, because I'm 1 off again in terms of resources. Yeah, unfortunate. Suppose I could have gone the 2 yellows. That might have worked. But again, we just have no poppers. The 4 worth blocking. So that's kind of the end of the turn. Right. We take the 4, we take... Oh, it's destroyed the arcane. We kind of get 1 more turn. What am I doing? Wild Ride, Wild Ride. Wild Ride, Bare Fangs. I don't know if we could get enough damage. But we probably need our whole hand to do so. I'm not going to spend, 10 minutes here thinking. Either we die or we hit and they die or we die. Either way, we're satisfied. What's the last card? It's another Herald. Yeah, so now we die. Alright. Overall, the Kayo Armory deck is fine. Again, it's not competitive. Needs heavy tweaking to be competitive. It should have included various things in its box originally, especially the cards they're suggesting. But it's fine nonetheless. 5 for Savage Sash. That's all you really need to know. Anyway, I'm gonna play 1 more game as Riptide because I enjoy Riptide. Against Azalea. Bill first. Don't think I need Trench. Okay. Also think I've missed 1 message, which is weird because now YouTube is not updating. Streamlabs stopped and now YouTube stopped. So we have Codex for 2 Nourishings. I think we just end and load up a trap. I think we just don't give them any ability to do anything. We just play it slow. Arsenal. Greater than is more likely to be used. I could also see reactions will go again. But it's most likely greater than with Azalea. Because they front pump. Right, the ledger's fine. We can get around Dominate easily. Yeah, there's the pump. So an 8 with Dominates. So it's still... it's Perch Grapplers and 2 traps. Yeah. We didn't get any buffs for Nourishing, so I'm still going to hold off on it. We'll just take the burn damage. I'm actually going to get rid of the Blood Rod as well. It's the red pitch. And we'll load up Tar Pit. I mean, the inertia means I don't have anything in the arsenal. I really don't want to Nourishing into Codex. It's fine. Done. Raises is instant anyway, so we wouldn't play around it. It's a pass. Load up the trap. Memorial Ground. We're not getting any of our buffs, which is unfortunate. Buzzsaw is clutch here. Could handle whatever they use. I mean, they might look for another red in the ledger. I feel like we clap back with Nourishing next turn, regardless. We won't actually get a lot of the trap pings, unfortunately. Yeah, another red in the ledger. So it's 8, potentially another buff. Oh, they laced it. No, they pitched lace. So it's still 2 traps, unfortunately. So worth ditching the Buzzsaw now. Can't activate more than 1 action, which is unfortunate because we want 4 actions. So I could just take the damage and stall. And not waste the Buzzsaw. We'll be aggressive. Don't put anything in the arsenal. Okay, so we deep blue something, mask, attack, and that still allows us to play everything. Yeah. And this is sync, not discard. I always get that conflated. So I'm going to keep the Memorial Ground because it allows us to put Nourishing right back on top at the end of the turn, or start of their turn, I should say. So we'll get rid of the Codex. Play Mask. Sync Pitfall. Find ourselves Nourishing. Pump it just a tad. I don't have anything in the arsenal, so it should land. Right, because they have 1, 2, 4 block. Oh god. It has to go in hand anyway. It has to go into the arsenal, so we draw. I would like it in hand to then be able to put a trap straight away. But we should get the intellect off on Nourishing. Yeah. So we should be fine. What we need is some other way to break the chain other than Memorial Ground. That way we could use it straight away. It's on top of the deck. Didn't grab too many traps. Maybe Codex and Premeditate was the better play there. But I like the Feign Death. Bonder means I'll load up the arsenal, so Codex was kind of better there. But we can also cycle for more traps. we really want here. Because ideally we want to play another trap, they activate a reaction, then use Blood Rot. But I'm actually going to cycle the Codex since we know Nourishing is on top. We get the Nourishing, so we can still play it next turn. Here's the Rain Razor. What did I just do? I played Sink Below. What happened to the Codex? Do I have to pay something? Anyway, bottom of the deck. Kick the Feign. Get rid of the Blood Rot, since we know it's not a reaction. I put into the arsenal, that was the misstep. Ah, okay. Sorry. Oh, God. Well, I've botched this. Does change what we're doing then. We're getting rid of the premeditate, keeping the Feign. Yeah, so that was a horrible misplay on my behalf. Basically just using the Codex for the Ponder token. Feign Death. Go with the other trap. I mean, a naked Nourishing isn't the worst either, especially with Codex in hand. It's a little bit better. And Inertia's up. Inertia we don't worry about too much. Hopefully it's something with Go again, so the collapsing trap can neuter. Let's probably play the Nourishing off the Warmongers. I messed up putting the Codex in. I forgot about Riptide's prompt on the Sink Below. Oh, +3. We can also just fully block. Ravenous Rabble. It's 0 cost, so they still play it. Is it worth discarding? I mean, either way, we're taking the Inertia most likely. Right? Because it'll be 4 +6 will be a 10. 3, 5, 8. Yeah. So, God. Is it the right call? I guess it's the right call. There's another Lace. I'm looking for something else. It's just a big endless arrow. They put it in their arsenal. We're losing the Codex anyway. But then the Ponder token also doesn't matter. So does the Frailty matter? I guess the Frailty does kind of matter. Wait, you can trigger the Inertia before the Ponder as well. We can still get a card into the arsenal. They can fully block this one too. Now remember, Talishar is right to left, not left to right, so put the Inertia on that side. Or not. No, it works. I didn't have to mess around with it. Cool, so we have a ton of healing as well, and a reel in. The 2 Pitfall traps are bad. Since we have Tome, I'm probably playing Remembrance and then using Reel In to get rid of the 2 Pitfall traps. Now we played from Arsenal, that's fine. So it's 11 with Dominate. 11 with Dominate creating Blood Rots. Is it worth blocking at all? You know, it might not be. It might just be worth toming. Tome and then Remembrance next turn. And just taking the 11. But I could get more cards this way, so we'll do this first. We'll play 4. And we'll get rid of the 2 Pitfalls. Since we can play the Tar Pit. Yeah, that was the worry. So it's now -1 instead. Reducing the value of the Tome. Do I need to Nourishing? There's still the other Codex and Memorial Ground. Sorry, do I need to Remembrance? At least they're blues now for the Blood Rot. So we can gain some life back, heal up. And then, yeah, just pitch for the Blood Rot, I guess. Be so much better with Murky Water and being able to run 3 copies of the attack. Even if their cost is slightly wonky. Don't you only have one choice? I think Talishar is behind. I think the go is whenever it's no longer green on the little bubble next to it, is when it's lagging behind. We'll give it a second. Otherwise I'll refresh. Well, I will refresh. No, okay, never mind. They are inactive. We'll give them a chance. Because it seems like they're invested in the match. What's the bug? They can't stash the Arsenal? Refresh the page, maybe? Interesting. Oh, cool, and we still get Arsenal Pitfall. God, Tome is so good in this. I think the -2 is better first. Bait them into it. Get to look for more traps again. Be disappointed when we don't draw into 4 of them. We also have the reload. So if they don't play increased attention, we're happy as well. Remorseless. Can't be played from Arsenal and Dominate. Nope. Well, there we go. I guess they're just doing it for the damage. Interesting. So with the traps we have, that does suck. God, is it right to wait for the reload first? Yeah, it still is. Do that. See if they pay. I mean, my best bet is just to overtrap the Rabble then, to get the damage across, since they're also going to just hit us for a ton of damage. I do think you want to swap out some of the traps. Whatever traps won't work against the opponent, so in this case, any with if a reaction was played, swap them into just blues with with 3 block and a fancy effects like Warmongers. What's the other one? The draw. Also, I will apologize. I don't know why. If anyone is chatting or anything, everything seems to be broken today. None of the widgets are working. Streamlabs stopped updating. YouTube stopped updating. If anyone's on Twitch, it's not updating. Alright, reel in. Pay with 4. Might as well put it into the arsenal. I mean, chances are they're going to pay for it anyway. And we didn't get anything. That's fantastic. Remorseless is going to do a ton of damage. Luckily, we're not doing anything next turn. This also doesn't break any point, right? Because if they pay for it, they serve the card. They don't pay for it, they serve the card. Down to 10. The inertia. This is a nice backswing attack turn. But we're really not lucking well with the reel ins. More buffs. Can I see it? Or do they just get to see it? I guess they just get to see it. Was it a trap? Should I play reel in? We'll go top of your deck. Is that a sorry? Oh yeah, they're still in my deck. Can we survive 10? Because we can attack for what? 3, 9 with Dominate. We can't survive a 10, not with Amplifying Arrow. And Seek and Destroy. It has Dominate, so I guess there is a chance. I'm probably better off going all in on traps than trying to go for Nourishing next turn. So I might as well pitch 5. I mean, I'd like to keep the Codex, but I can't. Alright, so we got traps. Good. Tripwire definitely goes in the arsenal. The reactions aren't live, that's unfortunate. We can still play 3 traps against it. Keep the yellow. They still get the Ponder. I still have to discard. Yeah, it's not good. I'm curious why it's letting me play it. I guess because it hasn't resolved. The Codex is still correct. Premeditates. I guess we swing, because we have the resources, and obviously are losing it anyway. Red in the Ledger. I think it'd be their mistake to play Red in the Ledger as is. Right, without looking for the Dominate from Azalea. There's a buff, so the inertia traps are active. We're pretty low, so I kind of just have to block with Premeditate anyway. So we can deny the reload. Does that really matter? I can also look for a better one, I suppose. More worried about whatever their next card is. Oh, well, the Blood Rot could actually get us anyway. Inertia. Get rid of the premeditate, hope for a trap. Frailty. Frailty's much better in this scenario. I mean, depending on our draws, we could turtle this out. Alright. Problem is, this does not have, fortunately, extra attack because of the frailty. That sucks. Maybe I should have nurtured the first one, frailty the second one. We just missed 2 damage, basically, from the traps. Yeah, and now we're starting to draw bad. I mean, we want to play Tome again to heal. But as long as they're doing, you know, more than 1 arrow, sort of screwed. Plus, if I want to get into the arsenal, I have to play Spike Pit Trap. I mean, we're holding on. Something. Go again is bad. Yeah, with our hand we can't survive two arrows, unfortunately. Even if the first one's kind of weak. Block with the Warmongers, take 1. See if they react and then Spike Pit it. And still be able to Arsenal the Tome and pitch Remembrance for it next turn. It's Rain Razors. It all depends what this next arrow is. Or if it's another 2 arrows. That's just as bad. So it's a 4 and a 3, so we don't have enough block, unfortunately. Plus Rain Razors. Still, good game. Alright, I think I've got time for one more. One more Riptide. Then I'm done for now. Oh. No way to refresh Streamlabs without opening it. Ugh, okay, no. So, swap the boots, swap the chest, swap everything. Although the swinging weapon is kind of nice. I'm going to keep the gauntlets instead. I think that's a little better. You want more Feigned Deaths. And also Whisper Oracle should be blue for this matchup. What am I getting rid of is the question. Remembrance? I mean, a lot of the traps are dead, actually, so it should just be red traps. Why are these in weird orderings? Do that. I kind of need more burst damage. Do something like that, I guess. It's not the best sideboard, in all honesty. Alright. So we can mask, pitch. I'm trying to think if we can get a big nourishing off straight away. I feel like we should be able to. Do that, get rid of that. Not as big as I'd like. If we had Deep Blue, we could have added Warmongers to it. But it's definitely important that we just attack, right? Because we need... Wait, do we have enough? Oh, we actually do. Perfect. Okay, it's a nice start. They have some tanky equipment. I'll buy 2. We get the intellect, which will definitely help out with pitching for the arcane barrier. Because basically all the traps are pitchables. Feign Death is also really nice. It just prevents the next instance of damage. Another Nourishing is also good because we warmongered the other one back. So it's kind of, what is it? It's take damage, then feign off of the sigil, and then premeditate into Nourishing off the remembrance. I guess they're not getting good draws. So, is that what's going on? Yep, okay. How long does this last? Next card you play this turn. You don't want to play the Aether Flare? Guess not. Not the Aether Flare. Where's it go? Look at the top. I guess we don't see it. Alright, so it just premeditates. Nice thing is too, we can recoup with Sigil now. We don't want to sort of overextend in case they end up doing damage. I mean, we can pitch the Feign Death. But Feign Death is definitely great in this matchup, hopefully. Because you can just deny a big amount of damage. Do I Sigil? That's the question. I'm gonna. Because they're definitely waiting till their turn for more damage. Alright, 41 is nice. Codex is great. Pitchables and Feign Death is wonderful too. He's not going to play any spells until he hits his stack and overwhelms you. Okay, so it's just a race. Glad YouTube is updating. We can definitely race for damage. So that also means I really want to hold on to the Feign Death, though. Also means we want any blues, basically. God. Wrong prompt. Why do I think it's the discard? Pass that. Then discard. So I guess Talishar might have helped here. Does want to block. Alright, Art of War. I guess that's what we'd be playing. Do you happen to know the highest amount of damage they can do in a turn? I mean, we can sort of figure it out. Because they're going to make use of Kano's effect, no? Well, they're going off anyway now. More or less. I mean, we're basically just fishing for another codex or memorial ground anyway. Probably also should trench there. We don't need the Art of War just yet. Alright, so we want just the highest pitch to cycle around first. We'd end up playing Warmongers more than Art of War. I'm just going to do that to cycle it. Problem is, if we don't draw into the cards we want, then we're kind of screwed. I should be just using real into the cycle. Pitch that Kano is looking to play double wildfire, triple blazing. Does well over 100. Yes, but it does 100 if it continuously stacks, right? So as long as I have Feign Death, it doesn't matter. I take the first one and then I just Feign Death through. So I should definitely be looking for Feign Death and holding Feign Death. That would be the play. So if we can see him do big numbers, be happy with that too. You need all three. Okay, good to know. It's a fun little race game then. I mean, with the right nourishings, or Feign Death are our conditions. Here are the real in. We can block one more set of 3. So I want the blue to come back around first. We know one Feign Death is middle of the deckish now. Codex would also be nice. We can Warmongers hit. Two Warmongers. That's too hard to play, even with Codex. So we have another 9 protection. So he still has... What is he looking for again? The Wildfire, Triple Blazing. Alright. So he doesn't care about Aether Flare, he doesn't care about anything he has been playing. Is he scumming me though? Is he undoing if he doesn't like the card on top? I need to watch that. I only want one for Trench. I assume the sorry is he has the setup now. Which is fine. Let's see it. Day of Wildfire is deal 4 damage, then turn attack actions, instead deal that much, plus X, or X is damaged up by Aether. What's the other one? Double Wildfire, triple Blazing. Blazing is the spec, yeah? Deal X, where X is the amount of arcane damage you've dealt this turn. So if I had the gloves, I'd be in a stronger position by taking the one extra piece. Should have probably cycled the Warmongers and put the premeditate in the arsenal, so we could look for some more cards. Whispers kind of helps. In cases like this, Talishar should allow you to target yourself now with Swell Tidings. Because then you could have the Ponder token at the cost of life. Because a lot of them are target hero, not opponent. Yellows, and then the premeditates. Suppose this isn't the most interesting match to watch. There's Codex. That's something. I feel like we have a hefty amount of traps left, but really into to be positive draw. There's some setup. And gaze. Would be nice if I still had the premeditate. So the Warmongers and play... And I have to pitch the blue. No, because I can still get around the discard. I can't overpitch into it. But I can block this. Is my rationale. We're doing what? An 8 would dominate. So most likely 5. I'm still a good 3 nourishings away. Also means I'd kind of rather hold the reel in, because it actually allows me to go positive in hand. It's still worth pushing the damage, surely. Yeah, no, Feign Death is our only out. It's worth pushing the damage. Getting the intellect as well. I suppose what you'd really want in this matchup is inertia. Is it hand specific? Like, does he need all 4 cards in order to have enough pitch to play everything? That would be the question. Question is, how lucky can we get with the reel in? Probably better still to turn all the reds. Alright, hasn't resolved. Oh, that's my bad. I have to wait for it to resolve. And then play it. See if we can get some better traps. On the Arsenal. Well, it sucks to shuffle away the Feign Death. But technically we broke even, because we got rid of 1 pitch, 3 pitch for 5 pitch. So we lost the blue. We really need to find the nourishings. So I have 1 Codex, 3 Memorial Grounds, and then still the buffs as well. Another 2 Premeditates, and another Warmongers. Need to cycle, so it's still worth arsenaling the yellow. Wasn't quite the last game I intended, in terms of length. But I'm sure they'll pop off sooner or later, right? Should almost be there. They've opted a lot. There's the Memorial Ground, though. So we get nourishing the turn after. Oh, is this it? The tomes are definitely a right way to start. Why Tome of Perindel? Because that was just neutral. They didn't actually gain a card off of it. I guess to float the resource that way? Yeah, so 8th Flare. 8th Flare is not what they're looking for. Is it? And either way, it feels like we're doing that for the resource. I mean, he has 2 extra procs of Kano, a 3rd card, and then a playable card. Did he mess up? Or are they just the last cards you play? And I'm feeding into it wrong by blocking this damage. I'm probably feeding into it wrong if I block this damage. 8th Flare, because it adds damage, but Snapback's just a raw 3. So this following turn. Or does he do it on my turn? I can see him doing it on my turn. Not combo, all combos start with Wildfire, okay. Actually, that was wrong. Do that. I put Sink Below in there because I want to get rid of the red. Right, I don't have Nourishing. Memorial Ground did not do its job. Well, we don't have that much pitch here. So they're basically stages. There we are. Right. No, wait, what? It's vanished. I'm confused. This is not getting into my head. Find the energy potions, then you have to restack it. That seems horrible. I just want to die. I want to go have lunch. I was promised big numbers. Thank you. Especially because I have nothing in hand. So this is it. Ugh. So it's like a turn, exhaust your opponent's hand, and then do it on their turn. Ooh. Okay, so you need what? You had 4 arcane barrier. I could pitch for the first one because it was a 6. So it still does 2 damage. The next one does 4 plus 3, so 7 damage. 8th Wildfire. You could pitch again. So that's a 3 and a 2. Plus 1, 6. But 8th, so then the Blazing Aether does 6 arcane damage. So if you run a full kit of arcane barrier and obviously have stuff in your hand, then you can sort of wade through it, can't you? But also, if I was just any more aggressive deck, I would have just run over them, no? Anyway, that'll do it. Ooh. Anyone hang around? Anyone watching voice? Thank you. Other than that, hope you enjoyed. Go buy the Armory deck, go get your Savage Stash. Don't pay over 40, don't pay 60 bucks for it either. Or, you know, buy a ton of them and then just profit off of the card that should not be scalped, right? The unintentional scalping that led to more scalping.